or you want to rebrand yourself, come up with a name that is so clever and is such an attention grabber that it almost doesn't even matter what you look like, because the name in itself is a game stopper.
What'd you say about Thundercats? I love Thundercats.
So I'm from Gen X and I'm a huge Thundercats fan. And so when I say CEO of iHeartBBW.com, I am saying it like Thundercats, ho!
Yeah. I love me some Lion-O. Come on, man.
Yes, and Pantra. Oh my gosh.
Who was your favorite?
Pantra.
Oh,
I
really?
love that like dominant, aggressive, feminine energy, and I felt like that's what Pantra brought to the show.
Yeah. Well, see, I might be a little bitch because I love Snarf. Well, I was a kid, so maybe that's why, but I love Snarf. It's like, Snarf.
Snarf.
Nadie se preocupa por mencionar que solo estaba siguiéndole.
You know?
Yeah. Hi, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Couldn't be better.
So, carry Platinum Puzzy Anthony from iHeartBBW.com.
Yes.
Right. So I have to ask, because you've been in the game for 20 years, right?
I have 21 this year. Celebrate 21 years, 2 decades plus.
I got to do math then. That's what, like 2004?
Yeah, around the end of 2004 going into 2005. So before the internet was really the internet. It was still old school forums and message boards and analog and AOL. Like I started off of those discs where it said 30 days free and you had to like plug it into your phone and you logged on and it went connecting. You know, like the whole, you had to wait. You had to
dial
wait
up.
Just to
Yeah,
log
you
on.
had dial up.
I had dial up. I mean, that's before broadband even existed.
Holy shit. So when you started during the dial up era.
During the dial up era. In fact, I'll take you back so far. I had Bell South dial up connection. And when broadband came out, I was one of the first people in my city, in my neighborhood, to get the broadband. And it wasn't called broadband. It was called, maybe it was called broadband, but I want to say it was called something else but anyways, it doesn't matter. It was when dial-up upgraded. I was one of the very first people because I had to. My job and my income depended on it.
So wait a minute. So during the dial-up era, what were you doing?
So to give you a little bit of context, I worked at a bill collector's office. I had been there for several years. I was really, really good at my job. Almost too good. And, you know, anybody that's worked in corporate environment understands competitive coworkers and people feeling threatened when you're really good at what you do. And they always take it personal. And for me, it was never personal. It was personal for me in the sense that like, I just wanted to be the best at what I was good at. Right. And I wanted to be good at my job because I felt like that's how you grow in a company. You want to be the best that you can be. Unfortunately, for people who are accustomed to being paid to do half-ass work and are okay with going up the chain of command and getting better jobs, but not doing better jobs, it's very threatening to them when a person like myself who's highly ambitious and wants to take pride in my work, they see me as a threat. And it's like, I'm not even looking at your job. I could care less about your job. I just want to make sure I'm doing my job really good so that I can continue to have a job. I understand that, you know, job security is not guaranteed. So early on, I realized that, you know, maybe the workforce wasn't for me. I ended up getting into a situation where my health was really, really on the line. And a lot of it had to do with my workplace. Later, I would find that out. But during the time, I had a serious health scare. And in fact, I was at work when I passed out, and the HR, who I had friends that I worked with that were like, hey, let me take her to the emergency room and I'll stay with her till her family gets there. They refused. They were like, nope, you got to stay on the phones. HR took me to the hospital, dropped me off in the ER while I'm unconscious, mind you, and left me in a wheelchair. So I knew in that moment it was, the final countdown. I didn't want to work for a company that literally left me at the hospital to potentially die. Luckily for me, I didn't, but it was a scary time, and it just really helped me realize that this place didn't give a shit about me. So in the midst of all of this health stuff, the doctor says I ended up going through an emergency surgery, and I had to take 6 to 8 weeks off unpaid. And when you are working paycheck to paycheck and your bills can't be put on hold for 6 to 8 weeks, and you can't just stop and pick up in 6 to 8 weeks and go, okay, well, now I can pay my rent. Now I can pay my electric bill. I had to do something. And so I felt like since I had all this downtime, even though I couldn't do anything physically, I'm like, there's got to be something. So I go online, I'm perusing the internet, and I see these work from home phone jobs. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. That's easy, right? So boop, boop, boop. I'm applying for all these jobs, and this lady hits me back immediately. And I'm like, oh, yes, we're working. We got something here. She calls me. Now, mind you, the entire conversation is about phone etiquette, hours, how to log in, yada, yada, yada. At no point does she tell me it's phone sex. But at the end of the call, she finally admits to me, well, I see that you're interested, but here's the kicker. It's a phone sex job. By this time, I'm like, fuck it. I got it. It's mine. And to, also add, I had been dating a lot of military men. I had a little infatuation for men in uniform. And so I was already doing phone sex for free anyways with these boneheads that would call me from around the world. And I would be like, oh, this is fun. So finally, I found something that I'm good at and something that's going to pay me while I'm at home, with the intention that I'm going to go back to my job eventually, but let's see how this works. To make a long story short and keep it, fun and entertaining, I was really good at my job. However, they don't tell you that your picture on the internet is not you, which it never occurred to me who it was. I just assumed it was me, but I never sent them pictures.
Yeah.
I never sent them pictures. Well, I get a phone call and this guy says, ooh, tell me what you look like. And I'm like, well, I'm about 240 pounds, 5'6". And he's like, click. And instantly I'm like, oh shit, did I say something wrong? Like, what the hell? So I call the lady that's managing me and I'm like, Houston, we have a problem. And she's like, what? And so I explained to her what happened. And she says, oh yeah, it's just random pictures that we get from, kind of like stock photos before stock photos were stock photos. And I'm like, that's not going to work. I'm not a good liar. That's not going to work for me. I'm not going to be able to be sexy and in the moment and think of what my pretend character looks like. So Platinum Puzzy was born because somebody had to come in and take some hot, sexy photos for the internet. And once I realized that there was a niche and a desire for plus size women, and that there were men out there that were seeking women that looked like me, Platinum Puzzy became infamous. So phone sex turned into doing pictures, turned into doing movies. I was more of a home movie amateur person. The big productions don't really work for me because I'm just not a good actress on film. And I don't like someone telling me what to do intimately. I don't care. I don't know if I would do good on a regular actor set either, but nonetheless, so I perused through the adult entertainment sector for a few years and made a name for myself. And then I decided that it wasn't for me, and I'd rather help other people build their brands and gain the tools, the knowledge, the resources, and the skills that they need to be entrepreneurs in a very sensitive, intimate environment, i.e. iHeartBBW.com, and I am now the CEO.
All right, so that makes sense. You really are the OG of BBW porn.
I am. I am one of the original. Now, a lot of people don't really consider me like part of the OG scene, in the sense that I never went on to do like 100 DVDs, but that was by choice, not by You know what I mean? Like I chose not to do the DVD scene. I chose not to work in an environment that I didn't feel was complementary to who I really am. And so while other people can say what they feel like the definition of what a porn star is or what the definition of an OG porn star is, I've done the work. I've put in the hours. I've perused through environments where I very much earned my title. So fight me if you want to.
Right?
That's how I feel
Yeah.
about it. Like, my history precedes itself. So it's like, you could say what you want to say. I also came from a different era. You know, now you book a scene by going to Twitter or, just happen to be on someone's OnlyFans. And back then you had to actually like know people. They had to know who you were. It wasn't, people didn't know who you were unless someone told them, because the likeliness that they would find you was either you had to find them or they had to somehow find you. It wasn't, let's go to Twitter and, oh, this is a really nice looking new model. Let me hit her up. It didn't work that way. So you had to either know someone in the industry and they would say, hey, I've got this new model. You should shoot with her, which is how I started. And or, you had to seek out these companies and say, hey, I would really like to shoot with your company. And you know, it was a much different environment back then. A lot less cutthroat, I'll say that.
Right. But yeah, like, because back then, I mean, there's always been, the different categories of porn and everything. But as far as like the internet and everything, like, because I'm interested in like the history of everything, and especially like the online stuff. I remember back in like that era of like 2000, I don't know, 2, 5, whatever it is. There was like all those. Do you remember like the light speed girls?
Yes.
Like the college girls, like all of that stuff, like the teens and that kind of shit. I don't remember, like, was there like internet? I guess there was internet wise, like the, BBW and like different, like mature and,
It
the
wasn't.
different categories.
No, we existed, but we existed in the crevices and underneath rocks. And we
Right,
were part
right.
of like almost like a secret society per se, because at that time you also have to think about the social climate in terms of people were not outright saying I'm gay. I'm not outright saying that I like trans, or I'm not, a lot of, people weren't out there saying that I like fat girls. Like that just wasn't the climate back then. Back then everybody was closeted. Even just in kink world, no one was out there being like, yeah, I'm a dominatrix, or yeah, I like to get my butt beat. Like it just was a much different environment. So to understand the internet, you have to understand the social climate and realizing that this is before the big awakening happened where people started becoming more size accepting and body positive, and before trans was even a big thing and it was acceptable and had its own category and things of that nature. I think although currently I feel like a lot of things have gotten out of control. The fact that we do have a plus size community within the adult entertainment industry and the world, not just, you know, forget the adult entertainment industry. That's a small portion in comparison to being in a world where more people are saying, yes, I am plus size. I am 200 plus pounds, but that doesn't mean I can't be beautiful. That doesn't mean that I can't be successful. That doesn't mean that I can't be confident. And, the same thing with maturity. And that's where I'm at. I'm 50 years old and I'm plus size. So, you know, I feel like it's a great time to really advocate for groups of people that have often been overlooked or ignored for one reason or another, because there's a large group of others out there that just can't accept that, just because I'm plus size doesn't mean I'm unhealthy. It doesn't, I'm not contagious. I'm not giving, I wish that I could give pounds away every time I went out. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like 20 pounds for
Right.
you, 10
Right.
pounds for
Yeah.
you. Oh, you're a real hater. I'm giving you 50 pounds. Like, if that was going to be, if I could be a hero, a superhero, that's what I would do. I would make fat phobic people fat. I would be like, oh, 150 pounds for you, bro. Like, that would be my superpower, is just to be like, ching, 10 pounds for you. Only 10, because you seem like you might be changeable, but you know what I mean? Like, but I would want to be able to do that for more than just like weight. I would want to do it for like racism and ageism and transphobic people and all the phobes out there. I would just want to be in one of those situations where it's like, oh, you're a Karen, bada 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 bing. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
in fact, I'm working with my videographer. We're working on a short film that I have. I'm trying to come up with the design for my superhero costume, but we're gonna go out in public, and I'm gonna literally be doing things that they don't know what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing. Is like, oh, you look like a Karen, or you're in the middle of a Karen episode, and I'm gonna be like, cha-ching, you know, sound effects and all that stuff, and then it's like turn them into a non-Karen person. So
Right. Yeah, that sounds fun.
right. I want to be like Santa Claus though, where I could just be all over the world at one time. There's just so many hater people out there.
Ah, man, I don't know. You're trying to change the world. That's come on. That's tough. That's impossible.
Isn't that what we
That's
all
im-
want though? Don't we all want to live in a better world where you can simply exist and it not be a reason for confrontation to just for one, I think we live in a country that has political like identity politics. What? Since when does who people marry or who they're having intimate relations with or raising children, like it's like, why are we governing things that are not meant, like no one's committing a crime? You know what I mean? Like who
Oh,
gets hurt from
100%.
that?
Yeah, nobody. Nobody. Who
It's
cares?
like ugh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I never have. I never will. But I used to get all psychotic with that shit too. Like I'd see shit on the news. I'd be like, motherfucker, like, god damn it, that shit pisses me off. I want to fucking do something. But at some point, it's like there's just so many like, stupid people out there and people that just like you can't change people's minds anymore. There's no changing people's minds, especially with social media and everything, because they have other people that think the same way, and so they have those. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
have their
but there's
group.
there's
So
other idiots out there that co-sign the dump this the stupidity. And for me, I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like if we don't fight and we let them win, then, is that the existence that or the legacy that you want to leave for your family? Or if you don't have kids, or if you're not trying to have kids, like do you want to leave that legacy for the future? It's like I'd rather, I mean, I'm not fighting. Like when it comes to social media, I'm not the online fighter because I feel like I'm just screaming into the void. And aside
mm,
from that, my social media is only for business purposes. And my Platinum Pussy persona has nothing to do with politics except for when I run for president. And that's because I have a site called puzzyforpresident.com. But that's a whole nother story.
I'm still looking that up.
And I don't
After
even
this,
know if
I'm
I still
going there.
have it. I gave it up when, somebody won twice. And wait a minute. I don't know if I'm not going to show you, but yeah, and I don't talk about politics. I don't like to get into it because everyone's entitled to their opinion. But for me, I just feel like we are living in times where our human rights are under attack, and our basic human rights are constantly being trampled on. And while we're fighting each other for simple things like standing in line at the grocery store and feeling the need to express our opinion about, racial issues or calling me fat. I'm like, dude, we have bigger problems out there. My weight should not be any of your business. And I have a shirt that says I get paid by the pound. And that's my motto. Like you can talk shit all day. I'm cool with what I look like and how much I weigh, but I get paid by the pound, baby. What do you get paid for? I'll wait.
Wait a minute, because I'm oblivious to everything. I don't
Okay.
fucking pay attention to a lot of things. But like what you just said, like that happens to you,
Oh, absolutely.
like yeah,
But the problem now is that people get offended by so many things that I don't even know what they're offended by. When they start acting shitty to me, I just always assume, because I've been fat my whole life, I just always assume that's why. But it could be a number of things. Like my pure existence in this world is offensive to a lot of people. So now I have to kind of go through the Rolodex of what could this person like, unless they specify, and people are like secret haters now. They don't say what it is outright. Some do. And when I've had people that are like that bold, it's usually, "Ew, how could you be so confident and be that size?" And it's like, "Ew, how could you be? Oh, you're ugly and you're judgmental." Like that kind of goes hand in hand. I could see why you'd be confused.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm like, what gave you the like, how could you be so confident to even let that come out your mouth? Like, you don't know, and beyond that, you just don't know where people are in their mental health journey. So while I try to lead by, the whole, I'm not trying to get myself in any trouble or any altercations. I mean, you just never know. Like, you could say that to somebody and lose your life behind that. Was it worth it? It's like, come on. I'm not saying I'm dangerous. I'm just saying, like, the world out there, you just never, people go on rages just from driving. People have lost their lives from road rage. Why would you put yourself in a situation? What are you going to gain from that conversation or that confrontation? I mean, seriously, it's like you really need to think about the world that you live in for you to feel comfortable. It's like me going to someone and saying, I don't even know, because I don't think like that. I think I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy. I made it another day. And that's, my gratitude.
Right. I just don't, I can't understand that mentality though. Like why, like what, what's the big deal that someone needs to say something like that to you?
Who are you? Who are you to judge? I'm sure if I went and looked at your social media, this is why I love TikTok. If you go on TikTok and somebody
love TikTok.
I love TikTok. You know why?
What?
TikTok will find you. They will find the Karens of the internet, the keyboard warriors that get behind a comment and they say something and they'll be like, let's find, Jane Doe 1234 who said this. And then they go and they find their LinkedIn, where they work, their Facebook, and they literally set out to destroy them. And it's like, although I feel that's extreme, it's very extreme, but we live in cancel culture. So you got to know, pick your battles is basically where that comes from. So if you put yourself in a position to make a comment and it's going to cause problems, then you shouldn't be surprised when the outcome is that they came for you because you asked them to. It's like one of those things when you call 911, someone's going to answer. Someone is on the line waiting for you to call. So, that's the times that we live in. So I love TikTok because while there's a lot of shenanigans and things on there that I'm just like, there are times where justice is served and people are learning important lessons about just because you think it doesn't mean you should say it or type it. And you should also be mindful of, like, what do you benefit? There are lots of things I would love to say to people, but if I feel like it's something that's going to be hurtful or it's something that's going to cause more problems than we already have, and it's not really like something that I'm going to stand on business about, then I just delete it and keep it pushing. Like, what am I hoping to accomplish with this comment? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. See, that's why I can't comprehend any of this, because like the only people I fucking feel like I need to say something to or want to say something to are assholes. You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, other than that, like someone that I'm not attracted to, I need to say something to that. Like,
but how do you know? How do you know you're not attracted to that person? Just because their physical presentation may not be what you've normally liked, that person internally could be more than what you like. You know what I mean? You don't know.
Oh, absolutely. But
never
like
judge
on
the book by its cover.
Oh, 100%. But on the physical sense, like I've never had the urge to fucking tell. Like I just don't.
But you don't know. You might meet somebody. Let me tell you why I say this, and it goes back to my name. One of the Platinum Puzzy was a double-edged sword, or is a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword because when I came up with it, which was genius, marketing, it was just marketing genius, okay? It's a name that stands out. What I really love about the way that I did my name is that at that time, everybody was putting BBW with their name because they wanted, BBW fans to seek them out. And I thought about it and I said, nah, I don't want to do that. And I'm glad that I didn't. And here's why. By not putting BBW by my name, when you see that and you say, oh my gosh, who is this? Platinum Puzzy. Like, she got to be a banger. Then you come to me and you're like, well, I don't know. There were people that were like, I'm not into BBWs, but I really like what you represent. I really like, the kind of work that you put out. Or I really like, many fans have come and said that to me. Like, I'm not typically a big girl lover, but because your personality is so inviting, or your personality is this, or something about you attracted me, then it was I looked past the physical part, and it wasn't about me liking you because you're a BBW. It was me liking you because I like you. And so that was the genius behind my name. The ingenious, or the lack of genius of intelligence behind my name, is that when social media would come out, my name is offensive everywhere. So Platinum Puzzy is not allowed to exist in most safer work spaces. So, but who knew that social media was coming at the beginning of my career? And to tell you a little bit about how I got my name, because it is a common question. Before I got into the adult industry, I had a bunch of friends that were men. And a lot of men have this conversation. If you were ever to be a porn star, what would be your porn star name? And of course, the comment of like, you take your first dog's name or your first animal and the street that you lived on.
Yeah.
You and that would be your name. And I was like, that's corny. That's not a name. That's like that's like the Chinese, the thing that you used to do. What do they call that? The Chinese dice or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I am, Bunny, what was the street that I lived on? Or Ontario, Bunny, Ontario. That doesn't sound good. So I was like, nah, y'all got to be more creative. That's a cop out. So I basically, in this conversation, was challenging everyone to come up with something better, something that was more representative of their personality. So as we're having this conversation, I'm joking with this one friend of mine, and he always has great like ideas for commercials, and we used to make jingles together, and like, he's a hoot, right? So I'm like, dude, what would my porn name be if I was in porn? Now, mind you, I've never watched porn at this point. I've never ever thought that I would ever be in porn. So this conversation is really funny now looking back, but at the time, it's just a conversation. Like, we're just joking about it.
About how old were you at this point?
I'm like 21. I didn't get into porn till I was 30.
Okay.
So I'm like 21, 22. These are conversations you have drinking, right? And I'm like, what would my name be? I can't think of anything for myself because, I'm just like, I don't know. Never thought about it. And he's like, Platinum Puzzy. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? He's like, that means you have the best coochie ever. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good one. And it's got the double P's. Oh yeah, I like that. So one day I'm on AOL chat rooms. Again, porn isn't even on my mind. It's not in my peripheral purview, nothing. I'm on AOL chat rooms, and I was in this one chat room where there was a couple of girls that were real popular for what, I don't know, but I didn't care. That's not why I was in there. I just enjoyed chatting with people from all over the world. So I go in there, and these girls were getting mad because there was a guy in there that was showing interest towards me, and they were like, oh, she's fat. Why do you like her? And he's like, oh, she's just really cool. She always comes in here. She's nice to everyone. She's funny. She talks about shit more than, typical girl stuff. Because I'm a tomboy. So that's been a typical reason why I have more male friends than female, because girls always see that as I'm trying to like butter up to the boys. And I'm like, no, I really like cars. I really like other things that are less girly and more masculine. But anyways, I digress. We're in the chat room. The guy is like in the public chat telling me, everybody how he thinks I'm attractive. And, of course the girls are like, why? And, it just becomes very volatile. So I'm like, I leave, and I'm like, I had made a screen name that had Platinum Puzzy in it. I said, I'm going to come back as Platinum Puzzy. Nobody knows it's me. So I get to be incognito. So I leave and I come back. as this Platinum Puzzy person. And the pictures that I have are a little bit more provocative than the ones on my regular profile, but you can't see my face. So you wouldn't know that it was me. Let me tell you, when I stopped the chat completely, and all the guys were like, who is this? And I was just being totally like, I took the conversation from whatever they were talking about to, we need to know who this platinum girl is. And I stole the attention of all the guys. When I had to come up with my name for the industry, I was like, that's the name, because it stopped the entire chat. And the dudes went crazy. They didn't care who I was. I could have been 1,000,000 pounds. The name made them so like squirrel that whatever the fight was before didn't even exist anymore. And when I saw how powerful that was, I was like, yeah, that's the name. So that's how Platinum Puzzy came about.
That's fucking, oh my God. Yeah, that's fucking brilliant, man. Yeah, that's like just a perfect fucking name. It's like, it's dirty, but it's, it's like, Puzzy.
Well, I did it with Z's.
Yeah, Puzzy.
I did it with Z's, and a lot of people have speculated. And to be honest with you, it was during the time that search engines were coming out. And I knew that if you put in the 2 S's, you were going to find everything but me. So I was like, I have to find a way to make myself different and stand out. So I added the Z's. And this is during the time where Snoop Dogg was like, for shizzle, like, so I was like, yeah, we're going to take those S's out and replace them with Z's. And then one of my friends came up with this tagline that says, the pussy's so good it puts you to sleep. That's why you got Z's in your name. And I'm like, oh, yes, genius. So.
yeah, I fucking love that, man. That's
so let me tell you so for people that are watching, if you are in the business, whether you're a cam girl or you got your OF page or whatever it is that you have, the point of this conversation is if you are branding yourself or getting started, or you want to rebrand yourself, come up with a name that is so clever and is such an attention grabber that it almost doesn't even matter what you look like, because the name in itself is a game stopper. It's such an intricate part of your brand, and people don't realize that when they're coming up with their names. And it's like, I saw someone that was talking about their name has something to do with Lindsay Lohan, but it's like something hand, and that's their brand. Is like they're like big on HJs. And are we allowed to say the word?
Yeah, hand jobs. What?
Yeah, hand jobs. Okay,
yeah, hand jobs.
I'm used to podcasts. You have to dumb everything down, and you can't say everything outright. But yeah, so her whole
Handy Manny.
Her whole niche is hand jobs, and I was like, "Yo, that's brilliant. That's so brilliant." So that's the advice that I have for people out there is when you're coming up with your name, or if you're not really happy with your name, rebrand. Think of something catchy. Think of something that's gonna capture attention, and rebrand. Do it. So
yeah, go check out. See if Handy Mandy's available.
That's great.
That's right, Handy Mandy.
Yeah, I love that. That's really like when I'm perusing through people's social media, those are the things that capture my attention. Are like I saw the other day, Josefina Baker. And I was like, Josefina, because I love stuff with ho in it. I call myself now the midlife mentor, and it's mentor with WHORE. I'm the midlife mentor. So
nice. Yeah, definitely. Branding is so fucking important. And plus it could be fun, depending on what you come up with and shit, and you can, like create off of that,
That's what I'm good at. I'm great at marketing. If I had to say, a lot of people have asked me like, what would be the key to your success and like the longevity of your career? And I would definitely say that the ability to recreate myself, or not being afraid to abandon the things that don't work for me and take on new things to see if those stick. One of the things I will say is that I don't normally cam under Platinum Puzzy. And the reason for that is because the guys that come and see me usually want to talk about the time that I was shooting porn, and because when I'm live on cams, I'm not there to chat about my career, like unless they're spending money, and typically they're not. They just are asking questions because they're like, "Oh, she's live." My most successful cam personality that I created is Mega MILF. And Mega MILF is just the housewife next door who happened to find Chatterbait on one of her computers, and how it got there. Oh my gosh, it had to be the nanny. And I'm just a random housewife that got curious and jumped on Chatterbait, and nobody knows. Shh. And I'm out here, I'm married to my high school sweetheart, and we've got, 50 kids, not really, but we've got a house full of kids, and I'm just a housewife that cooks and cleans and runs the family business. And my husband doesn't spend a lot of time with me because he's in his man cave playing Call of Duty. And I've got these kids running around, and I get on Chatterbait. I sneak on Chatterbait because I need some MILF time. I need some, hold on. I need some, like grown woman time. And the guys, and I did it just because I was getting on cam as Platinum.
Oh my God.
And I was seeing like no results. And I'm like, how can I be an OG, a legend, a trailblazer? And I get on cam and I'm not successful. And it's because, first of all, I wasn't really on cam consistently. But beyond that, the only thing people were interested in talking about was my porn career because that was my name. And it's like, okay, well, one day I got creative and decided to be a nobody. And it was the best thing I ever did. I made more money camming as a nobody than I ever did as Platinum Puzzy. So, let that be a lesson to putting a little, like, as much as branding is important, so is coming up with the storyline and having, the presentation. And the thing that made Mega MILF so popular was that I would get on cam and literally my husband would be next to me, which obviously he knew he married Platinum, but I would be like, shh, don't tip. You're good. Oh, and I'd have the lush inside and I would be like, oh, you're going to get me caught. And he'd be like, so he knew the game, and the game would be like, he'd be like, what are you doing? What's wrong? And I would be like, cha-ching, like every time the token noise would go off, I'd be like, oh, I'm playing slot machines. And he'd be like, but why are you like acting like that? And I'm like, oh, because I'm so excited that I won. And he'd be like, okay. Now, mind you, he knows what's going on, but he found it absolutely fascinating that people were like getting into it, and like they got to a point where they would spend so many tokens because they were trying to get me to, be caught. And he would be over there laughing his ass off, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Dude, that sounds like so much fucking fun.
Until I got caught. Then I was like, fuck. But, and I got stalked. That's really why I don't cam under that name anymore. It's because, unfortunately.
Oh, what a fucking downer.
Well, it taps into another subject that I think is really important for other performers to, and not only just performers, but like the fans, is that collaborating with other performers can be dangerous. Oh,
I've never heard that before. Oh, wow. You heard that? Yeah.
I was going to say, damn. No, I know. Yeah. So what happened was I met a girl on a cam site, and she was very popular. Another BBW performer. Turns out she lives about an hour away from me. I live in Baltimore. She lives in a bordering state, is what we'll say, because I don't want anybody to know who she is and send her any unnecessary attention. And I just loved her cam personality. She was just real, very, very similar to mine, but she had a big following, and she had these people that were like really dedicated to her. And I'm a person with like crazy work ethic, and I respect people that have that same, like she got on cam the same time every day, and she cammed for hours. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I admire her. So I went into her cam room, and one thing I've experienced is very few people are nice to you when you go into the cam room and they know you're a performer. And I went in there and I started tipping her, and she was real cool about it. And in fact, we just developed a friendship. We started talking online. We started going on cam together. We started pitting our fans against each other. We would do like tip wars and all kinds of stuff. So it became not only lucrative, but, we developed this friendship. And what I did not know is that she participated in some things that I not only don't agree with as a human being, but were a complete conflict to me as a person and definitely my online persona. But I didn't know at the time what this was. And I didn't realize my affiliation was going to get me wrapped up in the situation. So what happens is she decides, hey, I'm coming to your house. We're going to get together. Warning, be very careful who you invite into your home. I brought her to my house. We did some camming together. We shot some content together, and we had a blast. Like, her energy and like her as a person, we got along wonderfully, which is not very common sometimes. Like, I have a very high energy, ambitious personality that people are very intimidated by, and they just automatically think that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why they do that, but I digress. So she came a couple of times. In fact, she brought her husband, and her husband got along with my husband, and like everything was good. One day she shares with me that she sends fake videos to people who like bestiality. So I find out that a good portion of her fan base is in this community. Now, I don't condone it. I don't watch it. I don't know anything about it aside from the fact that it's highly illegal and it's very inhumane. But this is a huge game changer for me. I'm like, ooh. But at the time, I just was like, well, she's not doing it. So who could it possibly hurt, right?
Yeah, but wait, you said fake. What does that mean?
So
Like,
she would take
it's
stuff that was already on the internet from people that were posting it, and then she would just send it to these guys.
oh,
And
so
because
they're real, but not from her.
correct. She
Okay,
wasn't
okay.
actually producing it,
D-
but she was making money
Sending
from other people's content, which in
right.
itself is wrong. But I really came to that conclusion very early, and it did cause some issues with us. But where it became problematic for me was that one of the fans that she had sends me an email and asks me to do a custom video. And they're like, we want you to do this. So it never occurred to me that because she was participating in this bullshit, that somebody was going to just think that I was okay with it. And I didn't even answer. I didn't even respond to the email because I had that pearl clutch. What? You want me to do what? Like, hell no. So I just was like, I'm going to ignore that the email exists and keep going with my life. And we're just going to pretend that never happened, sweep it under the rug. And I really didn't know how to respond to that. And I was always told that if someone's stalking you, not to even engage with them because they're just looking for your attention. So I pass it by, don't pay it any attention, don't even think about it. And again, until I get another email about a week later, and it's literally doxing me, legal name, address, like, and because I was camming under Mega MILF, they then bring up Platinum Puzzy. So now I'm really concerned because now this, like, if it was just the Mega MILF thing, I could shut that down and it would be whatever, right? But they know about my other stuff too. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my career is over.
All because you wouldn't bang a dog?
All because I wouldn't bang a dog and do this custom video request. So in the midst of this video, they tell me that if I don't produce the content, they're going to find content of someone who looks like me and put all my information on it and send it anyways. So I can either do the content or I can and I'm like, why would I don't understand, but whatever. I just was like, again, I'm not even going to pay this no mind, but it did scare me because they know my address, they know my name.
Fuck yeah.
They're
Jesus Christ.
threatening to go to the police, which I couldn't imagine what I would have done wrong, but we live in a time where all people got to do is call the police, and once you get wrapped up into a case, whether you're innocent or guilty doesn't matter. Like, things just go left. So I'm petrified. I'm not a big crier normally, but I'm literally crying because I'm like, my life literally is exploding in front of my face. And I didn't put two and two together at first, But eventually it was like, it was obvious, like, why else would these people even know who I am? So it's actually still ongoing. This is since 2016. So it's almost been 10 years. They come back about once a year. And I mean, what I will say is this, and the reason why I bring it up, the collaboration part, you got to be careful. Know what kind of content these people are doing. And if it's things that you don't agree with, don't get involved, because you will get their fan base. You will get their psychos. You'll get all the stuff that comes with it. It isn't worth the money. Luckily, I never took any money from anybody from that community, but well, that I know of, not for those things. I mean, they could have tipped me just off of GP, but you know, it's just a bad situation to be in. Beyond that, the real message is this: when you're being blackmailed, if you have people that are coming to you and making you feel like, you know, what I experienced, I have never responded to them. And in my case, I've been very lucky. Nothing has actually come to fruition. PETA has not come to my door. The police have not come to my door, and they have not done anything outside of just continuously sending me emails. And they did put out the video with my email address on it and all my social media information and whatever. And there was a time I was getting hundreds of emails a day asking me to do this content. And randomly from time to time, I'll get something that's like, hey, I saw you on Zoo something, you know, can you do a video for me? And I just ignore it and keep it pushing. But I say that to say that the internet is a dangerous place. So, oh gosh, that's my husband. I didn't respond to his text. So he's like, hello.
That's fucking insane.
You got to be careful. Please protect yourself. And I tried to get the police involved and the FBI involved. But there's so much internet crime happening that a cam girl being stalked is not top priority. And since then, I've been working on some sort of like nonprofit organization that helps people that are like cam performers who are going through this, whether it's someone they know or someone they don't know or whatever the case may be. I'm lucky that I have a support system that brought me back to, you know, being able to be myself and not get sucked into this situation. But a lot of people are adversely affected. I will say it did affect my mental health, and I want to create an organization that comes in, gets the FBI or, you know, some sort of government agency involved and helps you to feel a little bit more safe, gives you tips and resources that you can, you know, protect yourself and set you up with a free VPN or whatever the case may be. Like, I haven't gotten that far yet. But I do think it's important that online performers have somewhere to go to get comfort or just to be able to express themselves to someone. You know, you go to your family and they're like, well, I told you so. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks. Oh, that helps. That helps so much. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I think it's important because, you know, we're just doing our jobs, you know, and while being a online performer, whether you're just doing OF or if you're on a cam site or whatever part of the industry you're in, you know, the biggest thing that a lot of people don't understand is that we are the product. So when we are going through something, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whether it's our heart is broken because a partner is being a shitty person or they broke up with us or we broke up with them or whatever, like when we're going through things, it affects our money. It affects our ability to conduct business. It affects everything. And, you know, we need to have a better support system because some of the worst serious situations I've experienced have been with other performers. And we have enough fights. We have enough fights out here.
Crazy.
Why the fuck are we fighting each other?
Right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I just did a TikTok the other day where I'm like, we are not beefing. You're beefing. We're not beefing. I don't give a fuck. Like, we've decided we're not going to be okay with each other. Cool. I'm not going to go out on a shit throwing campaign for what? Take that time and that energy and be a better version of yourself. Do better. But what do I gain from coming for you? Like, nothing. And I feel like people just misjudge me thinking that I'm some, you know, like I don't know. Like, I don't know what they think I'm doing, but I'm literally over here just trying to survive the fucking world, okay? I am literally just trying to be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. I am literally just trying not to hurt myself or anybody else in this world. You are not. I'm not going to give you any time or energy. We've come to the conclusion that we can't be cool. No problem. It doesn't have to be a shit throwing war. Like, done. We're moving on. But unfortunately, and this isn't just in the industry. I think this is just people in general. Like, when you separate from someone, we've got to find healthier ways of coming up with an amicable way of separating ourselves from people, because sometimes we are the drama. We create a situation where there is no situation to create. It's like, hey, you made a mistake. I made a mistake. We made a mistake. We decided that we just don't need to be in the same airspace together. Cool. I'm going to remove myself so you can breathe without me. I'm going to go somewhere to the other side. You know what I'm saying? And everything that I'm doing going forward is just, has nothing to do with you. So.
Yeah, Cam Girl beef, I don't get, because I guess, yeah, you can fucking say, like, like what? You're taking my fucking customers, this and that, but that's really not the fucking reality of it. But besides that, with the doxing, because I see that a lot on the Reddit, the Reddits, the different Reddits, the OnlyFans, the fucking creators advice, all that shit. I see a lot of, especially noobs, they're like, I've fucking been doxed. What the fuck do I do? Would you say, like, just in general, like, just ignore it?
No. I don't say ignore it, because people having your personal information is serious. I have not figured out a affordable and successful way of scrubbing the internet. A lot of the information, once it's been placed on the regular internet, makes it to the dark web. And once it's on the dark web, it's virtually impossible to hunt down and get off. So that's not meant to scare people. It's meant to be the reality of the situation. Now, I've been doxxed many times, and, I can say that, fortunate for myself, those things haven't come into a safety issue that I'm aware of. And I'm going to say that I'm aware of because I don't know if someone was watching me. There's been a few times and few situations that could have possibly been as a result of being doxxed, but I don't know for certain. And I don't like to perpetuate a storyline unless I know that there's, actual facts. But I can say that, like, when it comes to being doxxed, there's some things you can do to protect yourself. And one of those things is getting yourself a P.O. box. Never, ever, ever. I don't care how much you get comfortable with a fan. I don't care how comfortable you get with other performers. Use as little of your own personal information as you have to. And it's difficult. It's one of the reasons why I don't collab with people, is because you got to give them your driver's license. You got to give them, personal information. And, I just don't feel comfortable with people out there having access to my personal information. So I find that using, and I know it sounds shitty, but using a fake name, using a P.O. box, having a phone number that's hidden behind a wall, or not, like maybe getting a prepaid phone and not even having it in your name. Thinking about, I used to be a skip tracer, and a skip tracer is a person who, for bounty hunters and collection agencies and police, they go and they search the internet to find out who people are. So one of the things that makes it really difficult to find people is when they use things like Text Now or Google Voice, or they don't have their phone in their name, because, that's an easy reverse search. Not using your home address. There's just a lot of things that you can do to mask your identity. And I think it's super necessary for your own safety. And don't invite people to your home. The number one reason why people in this industry are targeted is because people have their home address. Stop inviting people into your home. And it sucks. It sucks because you You meet people and you like them and you want them to come over and have drinks and have girls' nights and shoot content and go on cam together. You want to do it. But I highly suggest renting an Airbnb, going to a studio, getting a hotel room, being in a mutual place where neither one of you have to give up your home address. And when things are done, you go home to your safe, your safe zone. And while I don't know how to circumvent the identification information, I do like that some cam sites, you just give them your online name, like Chatterbait, Sin Party, Streamate. You just give them the name of the person that you're camming with, and you don't have to give them any information. Same thing with OF. You just tell them what your OF name is. They tag you, and boom, you're under compliance.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I thought like long as you give the site your information, then they know that you're good to, stream with them. It's all good. To give another performer all your information, that's insane. I had no idea that's a thing.
Well, if you're shooting well, here's the thing. While the camming part isn't really the issue, what happens is when we're collaborating together, we want to maximize the time that we're together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while we're together, we're going to want to shoot content, whether we use it for mini vids or clips for sale or OF, LF, wherever we want to use it. You get a release form and a 2257 form at minimum. And the release form is to verify that you have rightful ownership of the content that you create. And the 2257 is for age verification, to verify that the person that you're shooting content with is of age, which requires a valid state or government issued ID, which is where the driver's license comes into play. So if we're getting together,
okay, all right,
and we're shooting content together, then it would be necessary, if I'm going to use that content outside of, OnlyFans or wherever, I need to have those things in place. I have to have the valid photo ID. I have to have the 2257 to verify that you agreed you were consensual, and a model release that says that I have, rightful ownership of this content and been given permission to distribute it. So these things are necessary if we're going to be shooting together. And a lot of people don't do it. They don't do the compliance stuff, which, to each their own. I don't recommend it. But if you're doing these things, then this is where the exchange of the personal information takes place. And so that's why I think it's great that cam sites are incorporating, because there was a time you had to do this for the cam sites. When you got on Chatterbait, you had to literally fill out the paperwork, submit the ID, and they had to prove it. And now it's, you just tell them what their Chatterbait ID is, and they'll approve it, and then you're good to go.
Right. Yeah.
Which is great, because I don't,
that's how it should be. Like, why am I? Because I forget what site it is. Yeah, because I was posting clips of the podcast. I think it might have been X videos. I don't remember, but you had to get a release form from the person. I was like, I'm not fucking. I don't.
P-Hub does that too. P-Hub does that too. They require that you have the paperwork and the ID, because you have to verify.
Yeah, I'm not asking anyone for their fucking information. I don't want it. I don't want them to have to give it. Like that feels so uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. However, I think if I was to come up with, if I could get funding, I would come up with a company that protected performers' information and distributed the information. I don't know how I would do it. Like, I really don't know how that would function. But there used to be a site, and I forget what it was called, but it was like 2257 something. And basically you submitted all your 2257 paperwork to them, because technically the way that it's supposed to work is this. If the government comes in and someone says you don't have rightful ownership of this content, or you go to court or whatever, but at any given time they can request the paperwork of all the adult entertainment content that you've shot. and you have to supply valid IDs and paperwork, and even have the date that the content was shot so that they can verify that they were 18 on the day that this stuff was shot. You have to identify what you shot. Technically, people just do the basics, but you're actually supposed to have a very detailed, and you're supposed to get a form for everything you shoot. So if you shoot 10 scenes, each scene should have its own content release and 2257, which is crazy. It's a lot of paperwork. But that's how it's supposed to be, because if the police come in and someone says that you're shooting content with someone who's underage, you have to be able to supply the paperwork, and they're not just going to ask for the paperwork of the person you're shooting with at the time. They're going to think that if you've done it once, you've done it before. They want to see everything.
Sure.
They're going to want to see your entire catalog. In fact, I'm actually getting ready to do a podcast in a few weeks where we talk about like traveling with porn on your phone and how that can get you locked up in certain countries in the world.
Oh, shit.
When I tell you, people like I don't have time to beef with people. I'm back here literally trying to create safer spaces for adult content creators in this world. There are a lot of things that are happening that a lot of people don't think about or don't know to think about. And I just want to make it so that we can exist and have safe spaces to turn to for, there's pineapple support for therapy, but I think that we should have support groups where we can go in there and talk about, shitty days. Maybe pineapple support doesn't have a support group, but maybe they do. I don't know. But I'm saying, like, I just want to have these spaces that help us function, because, you're not alone. You're not alone. But anyways, yeah, paperwork.
Sounds like a huge pain in the ass.
I mean, but these are things we should be, as adult entertainers, we should be proactively working together to fix the system. I mean, why are we beefing with each other? Excuse me, while in Congress, they are creating an age verification nightmare where adult entertainment is going to be virtually non-existent on the internet in 50 US states. Now, not 50, but right now there's a lot of states that are incorporating laws that create an age verification system that, like, you can't even
I thought it was just Texas.
You can't cam in Florida. People are having to get VPNs and creatively, or I don't know, you can't get a P-Hub in Florida. Or I've got a friend that's in Florida, one of my fans that I've been friends with for a long time. He does not know my address, by the way. I don't even think he knows my real name. But anyways, he said that he had to get a VPN to be able to get to OF and other adult websites. And he is, like, damn, I got to go through all this shit just to be able to, get one at night.
I got to write that down because I'm talking to someone that lives in Florida tomorrow night. I'm curious because I just thought it was Texas, like, because that's
no.
Because all the comedians are talking about that. I can't access porn in Texas, blah, blah, blah.
There are more states than that. There are definitely more states than that. And there are more states that are jumping on the bandwagon. So if you are in the industry at whatever capacity, cam person, adult entertainer, content creator, whatever you want to call yourself, you should be on xbiz.com, xbiz.net. They put out daily press releases and are up to date with, keeping you. Corey Silverstein is an adult entertainment attorney. And he puts out things where he talks about why this is so important for us to fight against, and how age verification affects us as performers, and how it affects our ability to make money in, various states, and why, a lot of people are like, well, I don't understand why I'm making less money on cams and on OF when I made so much money in the pandemic. And I'm like, because these laws affect us. If they can't reach you, they can't pay you. Think about it. If you can't get into the McDonald's parking lot and the drive-thru is blocked off and the doors are locked, can you get McDonald's? No. You got to go somewhere else.
Just want a McChicken. What the fuck?
I just want a Big Mac, bro.
Right? Like, what the fuck? Like,
But you got to think about it. Like, and here's the other part of that. Like, as a performer, we often are like, dang, maybe I'm just not looking my best, or maybe I got a bad attitude on camera or whatever. And sometimes there are things happening in the background that have nothing to do with you and are affecting your ability to make money. So don't always take it personal because it's easy. I do it too. Sometimes I'll be like, damn, that was a bad day on cam. Did I have an attitude? Was I too mean? Because I'm a dominatrix. So I'm like, pay me my money. I'm mean. Yeah. Like, shut up, pay me. And people are like, sometimes I'll be like, damn, that was kind of mean. I should be a little more nurturing.
Busting out the fucking Goodfellas. Fuck you, pay me.
But that's really how I feel. Like when it comes to females, I'm very sensual. When it comes to men, I'm like, man, just give me the fucking money and shut the fuck up.
Well, isn't that what it's all about though? Like it's a business though, right? Like you're
It is.
like if you're going to your job, like no matter what it is, going to McDonald's, going to fucking clean someone's house, whatever, it's a fucking job. I'm not there to fucking make friends. I'm not,
No. But we have to have a certain, I don't want to say customer service, but I mean, for lack of a better way to explain it, we've got, like, you can't just tell somebody, like, we all know, and it drives me insane. You know why I'm on Chatterbait or Sin Party or whatever what Cam said I'm on. You know why I'm there. I know why you're here. I'm not trying to stop you from getting to your ultimate explosion. I just need you to understand that I'm not here to do it just because I have nothing better to do on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? I'm here because I expect to get paid. So, and it's like, but we live in a time right now where so many things have been watered down to where people just expect everything for free. But it's kind of been like that for a long time. It's not new. It's just become more prevalent. But yeah, it to some degree, yes, you got to be like, I'm here at my job, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. Like the mentality of why people, don't respect sex workers. Like, they think that we're just disposable nothings. We don't matter, but yeah, I'm here to work. That's why I don't answer DMs on social media. I'm not there to message you for free. You want to message me, go to my OF. You want to see me go live, you go to sinparty.com, my preferred webcam site.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing because, like, I don't know, because like I'm not in the business, I don't know shit, but like I see a lot because I also post a show everywhere, but on one of the things I posted on BitChute. You familiar with BitChute? It's like a YouTube alternative.
Never heard of it. Let me put hold on.
You got
Let me write this down. Big
BitChute, BitChute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you got YouTube, then you have Rumble, and then there's BitChute. It's like, I call it third tier. I'm kind of friends with the CEO of BitChute, so please don't take that personally, sir. Ray. It's not like that. I swear. I just, it is what it is. Okay. But there are fucking like every fucking comment on every fucking video are these incel guys that are like, so extremely disrespectful to the, to the girl that I'm interviewing and everything. And it makes no sense to me. I don't understand. Like, first off, who gives a shit? Why are you even fucking saying what you're saying? Who fucking cares? All right. And to me, it seems like it's those guys that just can't get any pussy. They can't talk to girls. They have no concept of it. They're angry at,
Well, I mean, let's look at it like this. Where are they at? They're on the internet. They're not out with a girl. They're not doing what men and women or whatever, sexual dynamic you are, because, do you. But they're on the internet, which is an indication that they don't have friends. It's an indication that they feel like that they're not living their best life, because I'm not commenting on shit that doesn't have anything to do with me, or even if it does, unless it's something that I feel I'm going to make a difference, and usually a positive difference, I'm not even going to post anything. I don't hit send unless it's important. You know what I mean? But these are people that probably do this all day, every day. They live in their mother's basement. They're 40 years old, you know, living on whatever income source they've got coming in, if any. Maybe they just, live off their parents' social security. Who fucking knows? Like, obviously, for you to feel compelled to make that comment. But here's my advice. I don't take it personal. You know why I don't take it personal? Because who the fuck are they? It's like when people call me fat. I'm like, oh shit, Captain Obvious. What? I know I'm fat. I don't need you to tell me I'm fat. But I'm fucking fabulous. So I may be fat, but you are stupid. And I can lose weight. You're stuck that way for the rest of your life. So who's winning? Not only that, but it goes back to my original trade line. I get paid by the pound. So if I gain 5 pounds, I'm gaining more money. So now what? You have to just if you engage with people like that, you're only giving them the attention that, the mama upstairs is not giving them, or whoever. Like, they're just, I don't even engage with them, because nothing is more frustrating and insulting to them than when nobody pays them attention. They love the attention when people go back and forth with them on the internet. So, if you're going to watch, when you see this, you fucking loser. I don't give a fuck. Comment away, because the more you comment, it creates engagement for his account. So comment the fuck on. Just know, falls on deaf ears. I don't give a fuck. In fact, I get turned on by it. So do it, baby. Yes.
Well, fuck yeah. We all know they're fucking limp dick losers that can't get any pussy, have no concept of talking to a girl, have never talked to a girl because they're too fucking scared. And they are so angry. I don't know why I get angry about it, but it's so fucking, like, I've never had, like, out of all, since I started watching YouTube or any of this shit, I've never had the fucking urge to, say something negative about some shit I've seen on YouTube. Like, for anything, forget about cam girls, like anything, any fucking video I've ever seen. I've never had the urge to fucking, like, oh, this is garbage. Because you know what? I know that other people, especially if, got a lot of views, likes, whatever, I know other people like it. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean other people don't like it. You know what I mean?
And who cares? Who the fuck are you to think that your opinion matters?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let's just face it. The internet is full of, 60 billion people. Like, who the fuck are you? Why are you typing this comment that nobody really gives a fuck about? You know what I mean? Like, what a fucking loser. Like, if that's not the boy who cried wolf begging for attention, like, yeah. So if you're gonna comment on my shit, and I urge you to, give me your best. Give me, like, you don't, like, the comments that they say are so dumb that I'm like, you didn't even bring your best. Come for me and give me something that I'm like, that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Those are the comments that I may comment on, and I might be like, clap, 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 touche. You know what I'm saying? Like, when somebody says something that's actually funny or clever, then I'm like, okay, that was funny. I'm gonna give you that, because that's the type of person that I am. Like, I'm humble as fuck. Like, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that was funny. I do have 2 chins. Wow, maybe 3. Like, okay, I give you that. But like, the shit that they say is so whack and weak, and it's like going for the like most common fat joke, or the most common your mama joke, or the most common you're so stupid joke. It's like, come on, just be real and creative and like original. Give me something. But you don't even bring your best. You go for the, you looked in the, the joke book for dummies, and you're like, oh, you're so fat that, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, really? I saw that on a comedy show. Like, come on, do better.
Exactly. So. And that's what I want fucking, cam girls to realize. Like, fuck the fucking negative comments and shit. Like, because Do other people do you have people that like you? That's what matters. You know what I mean? Of course there's going to be people that don't like you. That's just how it is. That's how it is with everything.
They don't even like themselves. They're not.
Which is why they're commenting like that, right?
They're not capable of liking you because they don't even like themselves. Nobody, this is the thing. What do they say? There's like some comment where it's like the queen doesn't something with the peasants, but it's there's something like the lions don't.
I'm not familiar with that shit.
It's like some sort of thing where it's like the basis of the comment is like there's certain, like the queen isn't gonna fight with a peasant because the queen's on the throne. Like she's not gonna have an argument with a commoner. You know what I mean? Like understanding that like these people are not even close to your, like they're not in any comparison to you. You don't compete where you don't compare. Like when people say, oh, you know, like I'm competing with them, and I'm like, you are on a country road in the middle of God fucking knows nowhere. I'm on a highway in the fast lane on the Autobahn in a completely different country. We are not competing. We can't. You're on a bicycle on a country road. I'm on the Autobahn. I'm going 1,000,000 miles a minute. Like, and beyond that, I'm not here to compete with you. What, unless you want to get into something that's lucrative, like, you know, a pay-per-view boxing match or a Bad Baby Alabama Barker beef because both of them are making money from that shit. I'm not interested. I don't give a fuck about your comment. I don't give a fuck about your beef. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. And I hate to say it that way because, you know, I don't want people to think that I don't value other people just because of, you know, a financial gain. But when it comes to comments, I really don't. I don't. Nothing you say, unless you're bringing something to my attention where I said something that's offensive and it really is offensive. You know what I mean? Like those are the types of situations where I might pay attention and use that as a learning moment to say, I didn't realize that what I was saying was offensive. You know what I mean? Like, you know, back in the day when people used to say tranny and it's like, no, you say trans. Or now you have to ask people what they identify as. You know, are you she, her, him, they, them, or whatever? Like, and you know, those are moments where it's like, okay, I'm willing to learn, but unless your comment is there to teach a lesson, or not even teach a lesson, but to inform me or the people that are looking at this content, and you're just there to be a jackass, like, then bring your best. Come with your best, bro. Don't come at me with no weak ass shit, because I'm gonna come up underneath your comment and laugh my ass off, or not pay you any attention at all, or maybe I'll put you on my podcast and talk shit about you. I don't know. Not likely, but maybe that's something to do in the future.
Oh well, that's what I'm doing. That's why I brought up that BitChute stuff, because I want to take all those comments and just do a fucking. I just want to go through each one because they are so fucking like. It's
but why you're giving them airplay? Put that.
They deserve it. They're fucking pussies.
They don't deserve it. Put that time and energy into something positive. Like take the good comments and make a podcast where you're like, oh, this is really nice. Round of applause. I don't know.
All right, I'll do it on my other fucking thing, my
Why?
thing,
It's
because it fucking so I can make fun of them. I just want to make fun of them.
Is it gonna make you money?
Maybe, I don't know. It's just fun to me.
You need to find better hobbies, bro. If you're gonna have fun, like have fun making money. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like, again, this goes back to me saying like, I'm only interested in doing things that are gonna better myself as a human being or are gonna make money. And I'm not willing to hurt other people to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely advice. That's not something I'm interested in. In fact, I did a thing called BBW Cam House from 2014 to 2018. It was the first BBW virtual voyeur house. So I don't know if you guys remember. It was like dorms, but basically there used to be this website where you could go and they had cameras inside the dorm rooms. And I'm gonna look it up because I need to
Like
remember.
Big Brother, that show Big Brother.
Big Brother.
I used to love that. Season 2, Will.
Yes.
He's the fucking man. But
hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I used to remember it and it's been a long time since I've talked about it.
Yeah, fucking Big Brother. Oh my god. Season 2. I didn't watch season 1. Season 2, fucking Will was like fucking J.R. Ewing from Dallas. Nobody understands that. That's a fucking, you gotta be like in your 60s to know Dallas. But yeah,
I remember Dallas. But yeah, it was Big Brother, but you know, the adult entertainment version. So
right, yeah.
You could see everything in my house. I lived in the house, which is highly 10 out of 10. Do not recommend. But you could see the cameras in the bathrooms. You could see the cameras in all the bedrooms. The basement, which is where most of the action took place because we hosted lifestyle parties. And so during the time of this house, I was approached by, we did a thing on Channel 5 UK, a show called Supersized. I don't know if it's still out, but there was, we were on a TV show in the UK, and it was basically just talking about the Voyeur House and how, you know, we're plus size performers, and I'm an advocate for size positivity and body positivity, yada, yada, yada. So we were on Channel 5. And through that, other companies, and this is during the Bad Girl Club, you know, hype, like it was the big thing. And they came and they said, we want to do basically a spinoff called BBW Bad Girls Club. And I was like, absolutely not. Good money, really good money, almost life-changing money. Like they were willing to pay good money to do this show. And I said, absolutely not. One, I live in this house, which means I don't get to go home when the drama's over, because the drama's never going to be over, because that's how that works, right? They just keep everybody at odds with each other because that's what keeps the Bad Girls Club. And I've also seen how reality TV works, and the producers stir up drama. So there's that. Two, I was not comfortable pitting women against each other. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with things being fabricated or things being egged on to a point where people want to harm each other. Like, it's one thing if we can just argue, and even then that's toxic behavior that I just didn't feel comfortable making money, or, you know, would this be an opportunity for people to rise in their stardom? Possibly, but is that what I want to be known for? Fuck no.
Is it?
And on top of that, I was also recently asked to do a podcast, and it would be an adult entertainment gossip podcast where we would talk about who's beefing, and we would talk about, you know, all the drama happening in the industry. And I was like, no.
The Keemstar, you'd be the Keemstar of
the Mike
Cam
South.
Girls.
Do you know who Mike South is?
No.
It's kind of like the Mike South, the TMZ of porn. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. So, and that's a testament to the opportunities that have presented themselves over the years, where people are like, oh, she'll step on anybody to get to the top. And I'm like, I have not gotten to the top because I refuse to do those things. I refuse. I just don't want to be a part. First of all, nothing good comes out of it. Secondly, I'm naturally just end up in drama. So I don't want to purposefully enter into situations where, you know, people are violent. And, you know, beyond that, like, I'm doing my best to be a positive part of the internet. I want to, my social media is very much, I want to be supportive to other people. I want to give positive, you know, content, but I'm not interested in participating in that shit. And it could have been lucrative. So I'm not willing to do anything for money.
Well, yeah, people love negativity. Like you said, TMZ, like, you know, it's all fucking negative. Keemstar on YouTube, all negative. There's no positive. Who the fuck? Nobody want. I don't know why. Like, people love drama.
I mean, it's easier to judge other people and their drama. I mean, let's look at the Diddy situation. I mean, people are invested in his story, but they're invested because they're like, what's going to happen to Diddy? But what about the people that were affected by him? The victims that are out there that lives have been destroyed. Like, you know, in the midst of all this drama, yeah, it's like, are we interested in what happens to him for the purpose of making sure that he's not able to hurt anybody else? Absolutely. But I don't think that's why people are watching. They're watching because it's, you know, drama worthy. It's like Kanye West. People talk so much shit about, oh, Kanye West. And I'm like, you know, Kanye says some things that are very, very off the wall. Like he's definitely an
Bipolar.
unusual
He's
person.
hardcore bipolar.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
with the whole fucking Diddy thing, like I don't even fucking like I haven't heard anything. Like every now and then I'll hear shit. The only thing I'm interested in is like it's amazing that that fucking goes on. Like that's insane.
But that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
it's
When you beef
completely
with somebody over
insane.
some dumb shit, you know, because somebody's tipping someone else more on cam sites, or you know what I'm saying, like, you know, trivial drama. There are bigger situations happening. People's lives are in danger. People's mental health are at risk. There are true victims out there and other bigger worldly things happening. I don't have time to give a fuck about you and your feelings. Fuck your feelings. And if you really feel some kind of way, there's a way to go about things without having to destroy each other and get into internet beef. You know, contact the person directly, because in a lot of the situations that I've seen, no one's attempted any type of amicable resolution. They just, one person has one opinion, somebody else has a different opinion, and then they just go at each other. And in the midst of that, it's like, what is the real common problem here? What are we hoping to accomplish with this? Are you destroying this person because they're a real bad person and they're out there really hurting people, or are you just hurt yourself and hurt people and you do it for attention? Like, I just don't understand it. I'm not going to actively, one, I don't participate in the online back and forth anyways, because to me, I could take that time and energy and do something more positive, productive, and lucrative. But beyond that, you know, if you want to have a conversation with me, there's a way to go about that. And most of the people that have had beef with me have never confronted me directly. It's always been conversations in the background and, you know, beefing with me in the background or beefing with me on social media. And because I don't participate, it either fades away or those people don't even exist in the industry anymore. So I just ignore it. I'm just like, fuck that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like,
Well, it's I think it's all about their personal fucking. I mean, you know this. It's all about their personal issues. It has nothing to do with you. You know, they feel.
I mean, it does though.
It's usually because they probably feel threatened by you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it depends on the situation, of course.
Maybe.
But
I think first of all, I am a person who takes responsibility and accountability for my shit. Have I made mistakes? 1000%. Have I functioned in this industry during times where I was mentally broken? Yes. In those times, have I participated in toxic activities or conversations or been not the most authentic version of myself and things have happened and people have been hurt? Yes. However, when I say that, you know, I'm not perfect. So I'm not going to sit here and try to paint a picture like, oh, I'm a victim. People attack me for no reason, because it's not the case. What I'm saying is that there's a way to go about doing things and having that conversation, and also saying she's not willing to hear my side of the story or vice versa. And we're not going to come up with an amicable like resolution, but I'm an understanding person who can say, listen, I may not understand where you're coming from. And I don't exactly, you know, like I'm that person that's going to be like, I get it. Okay. If I'm not sorry about what I did because I don't understand how what I did was wrong, then I'm not going to apologize. But if I see that I was wrong, and in most cases, I'll be like, yeah, that was fucked up. I could have handled that situation better. Or yeah, I said that was mean. Like that was very hurtful. I apologize. And it doesn't have to be like a reconciliation and we're not going to pick up where we left off. I'm okay with that. But we can at least move in this space and not have to be on enemy, like it's not an enemy territory type situation. It's you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. And that's just, you're on your side, I'm on my side, and I respect that. And, I think for me, I'm often misunderstood. And the version of me that a lot of people beef with is an older version of myself. I took 2024 to heal. I took 2024 to face my demons and to do the work that needed to be done because, a lot of things that happened prior to that I never took the time to, I put all my energy into iHeartBBW and, shit got crazy. And so I think that's the part, because I take responsibility and accountability for my actions or lack thereof. Other people aren't quite there in their journey. They're not at that point in their journey where they too can say, yeah, I could have did something better. I could have, woulda, shoulda, participated in this or shouldn't have participated in that. And because they don't want to take accountability or any responsibility for their actions or lack thereof, it's easier to just be in a situation with me and make me the enemy because they don't want to have that moment of clarity or that moment of truth where it's like, yeah, it takes more than one person to build a community, and it takes more than one person to tear it apart and destroy it. So I can't be solely responsible. I can't take all the accolades for its success, and I'm not going to take all the blame for its destruction. So anybody that has beef, I'm just like, yo, there are so many better things that we can be doing with ourselves that I'm just not participating.
Right. And I think a lot of people are so used to dealing with people that don't own up to their shit and just fucking, so when they're beefing with someone like you, they're just expecting you to not own up to your shit, not just fucking, so it just keeps on fucking coming at you. You know what I mean?
But you don't know.
Right. That's the thing.
You don't know. If you never try, you can't fail. You can't succeed. You gotta, if you come to me, and one of the things that I learned throughout this last year is you also have to remember where people are in the time that a situation happens. And for me, if you had a conversation with me during 2023 and I wasn't listening to you or I didn't understand what I was doing wrong, I was broken. I was barely surviving. I literally was giving everything to everyone except myself. And so at the end of 2023, I was broken, shattered into a million pieces. Excuse me. And 2024, I had to put myself back together. So the conversation that we would have had in 2023 is going to look very differently than the conversation that we're going to have in 2025. In 2025, I'm going to sit down and say, I fucked up. I made some critical mistakes. I was supposed to be a leader and I shouldn't have been leading anything because I could barely lead myself. And I had some serious trauma take place. And that's not an excuse for bad behavior. It's just the facts of what was happening in my life. And I do not excuse my behavior in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So the conversation we're going to have today is going to be very different because I'm healed. I've matured. I've grown and evolved and realized that, the way that I was doing things was not healthy for myself or anybody around me. So if someone was hurt by my actions or my words, if somebody, feels some kind of way, and that's what the beef is, which in most cases it is, somebody was hurt by something and, it's just easier to villainize other people than to say, I went about doing things, and it's not their responsibility, but at the same time, it kind of is, it's our responsibility. But I digress. That conversation is going to look very different today because I would definitely be like, yeah, I said some fucked up shit. I did some fucked up shit and I wasn't the best version of myself. I apologize. I don't want to be around you because anybody that I'm going to be around needs to be able to come to me and be like, shake me and be like, yo, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? That's that's what I've ascertained from all of those things, is that I wasn't around people who genuinely cared about me, because those people would have noticed that something was wrong and found a way to communicate with me that what I was doing was damaging myself and the people around me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So now so it wouldn't be a situation where it's like, I don't hate you. I don't want, like, I don't want to have that negative energy between us, because it's not healthy. But at the same time, be able to come to a space where it's like, I get it. You're upset about something that happened in 2023, and the version of me that you are talking about doesn't even exist anymore, because I've done everything in my power to figure out why that was happening so that I could fix it and be a better version of myself. Not that I'm better than anyone else, because I hate when people say that. You think you're better than everyone else. No, babe, I'm better me today than I was yesterday. Period. So.
Right. So if you're having beef with someone, fucking just tell them like it is. Don't fucking like try not to be confrontational. Cause like I've had, like I had some YouTuber friends and shit. I've fucking destroyed relationships, and I've, got into a lot of fucking YouTuber drama and shit, especially with one of my friends, Ask a Gangster. We fucking we were best friends. We fucking, we got into beef. I don't even remember what the beef was. Well, it was my fault, and he finally fucking said, he was making diss tracks on me. We were fucking going back and forth. But like he finally said, like we had a real conversation. He was like, "Yo, you fucking said this shit," and it just made everything fucked up. And I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even realize I said that. I am so sorry." And we made up, and everything was good. You know what I mean? Like just tell someone like it is.
I
I don't
mean,
know. I
but
don't know,
in
man.
today's day, I'll be honest with you. In today's day, people are so sensitive, and it's easier to perpetuate the negativity than it is to confront the situation. And honestly, for me, a lot of times the reason why I don't confront things is because I don't I don't say I don't confront things, but there are things that I have not confronted, because the person that I would be confronting is not in a place, and I'm not really the person to judge that, but if I don't confront something, it's usually because I'm like, I don't think this person's in a healthy place to have the conversation in a way that's going to end well. And so if you already have that drama, I just don't want to continue to feed into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things where I'm just like, I'm not giving it any energy and any attention unless I see that there's like some sort of, because there's been situations in the past where, something happened 4 or 5 years ago, and then I'll see someone at a convention, or I'll see, something online, and somehow I get caught up into a conversation, and then we'll talk about something. And 9 times out of 10, like you said, you don't even remember what you're beefing about. There's people that have beefs with me, and I'm like, I don't even fucking remember what happened. That's how much this really plagued me. Like, I just get to a point where I'm just like, look, we don't fuck with each other. Cool. Keep it pushing. It's like an old relationship. I'm not fiending for anybody from my past. I don't, in fact, I'm going to do an entire podcast series about people being friends after they break up, because I think that's so weird. Like, once we've decided we are not going to, unless we were really good friends beforehand, which is often not the case, I think it's weird to remain friends with your exes, because when you get into a new relationship, you know what I mean? Like, that person's like, why are you still talking to Below Joe the ex? Like, I don't get it. So for me, it's like, I can wish you well, but that doesn't mean that I need to like be in your life, or you need to be in mine. So anyways, I say all that to say that, like, we don't have to be in each other's lives anymore. And this is why I'm now very careful about who I consider friends, or the collaborations, or even just like being careful, because this is my workspace. And so when it comes to personal friendships and relationships, those don't mix with business very well, because when people want to break up, they want to destroy people's businesses. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I'm not coming for your income sources. I'm not stopping you from making money. I'm not that kind of, like, when people call me a hater, or they want to villainize me, I'm like, listen, I'm not stopping you from doing what you do. Period. I'm not telling cam companies not to let you go live. I'm not going to producers and telling them not to shoot you. I'm not getting involved in stopping you from making your money, contrary to popular belief. I really am not. Because I don't want you to do that shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to stop me from making my money. So,
Fuck, I didn't know. I guess the bigger you get, the more fucking beef comes with it. Because, like, it sounds like so much fucking drama.
there's that.
It's like a Snoop Dogg fucking song. So much
But
drama in the LBC
also,
and
the more
shit.
people,
What
the more people that you bring around you, the more you put yourself at risk of situations going left. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
and for me, I'm a person who likes to build community. I like to help other people find their confidence. I like to see people find their success. And with that, which is why iHeartBBW.com was built in the first place. It was built to help BBWs be seen in places like Exotica and AVN and just different spaces in the adult entertainment industry that have for a very long time ignored and not provided a space for BBWs. And there's a common misconception for people in the industry that they have to. They do not. Nobody has to hire you. Nobody has to give you an award. Nobody has to do anything. It is earned, but you earn it by building a community and letting people see that, we are more powerful in numbers, which is why I did iHeartBBW in the first place. Is like, yeah, I can do stuff, but my career is pretty much over. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in this almost 21 years. Like, I'm good. So the idea was that I would create this community or build this community and we would build it together. And it's been very effective because now there's the curvy BBW fashion show at Exotica and there's booth spaces and like you're seeing more BBW presence on a professional basis at these shows. And that was the goal. That's always been the goal, is to like set up the foundation. And whether we were doing it together or you started, taking from the things that we were doing and then doing something on your own, the fact of the matter is I want there to be, an entire BBW section at Exotica or AVN or XBiz or wherever. You know what I mean? Like, I just want there to be more BBW representation. And now I'm starting to reach out to a broader audience because I feel like I've kind of boxed myself into BBW. And while I will always have a place in my heart and a passion for the BBW community, I think that there's like me being middle-aged, that's another group of people that are highly ignored and unrecognized in our industry. And I want them to, because, we have our own set of problems like perimenopause and menopause and, being in an industry where we are showcasing our bodies and using our bodies as our tools to make money when you're going through hot flashes and all the stuff that happens in menopause and perimenopause. Like, no one's talking about that. No one's talking about how, you're just trying to function and you wake up and it's one of those days where you're just like, fuck, and people are like, oh, she was horrible on set. Like, motherfucker, do you know what I'm going through inside? So I think that's just, I think I have a purpose in this world. And that's what I learned last year is, I'm trying not to take things personal and not let things hurt my feelings, but I'm human and I'm a woman. So it happens, and I'm menopausal, perimenopausal or menopausal, whatever. I don't even know what stage I'm at, but things hurt my fucking feelings. Sometimes I wake up and I just cry for no reason. And I'm like, dude, my whole life I was not a crier. And now all of a sudden I'm like watching TMZ and they're talking about Justin Bieber. And I'm like, oh God, poor Justin, And people are, right. My husband's like, what the fuck? Are you okay? And he thinks something's wrong with me. And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying,
So, God. Sounds horrible.
I mean, it's life though.
Right. Yeah. But I know I know what your problem is.
What is it?
Your problem is you're trying to help people. And for some reason, like, I don't know, people fucking other people like not take offense, but like are maybe threatened by it, or like, I don't know. Cause you know what I mean? Like, cause that seems to be like, I mean, I don't know you or anything, but that seems to be like, like you're fucking like, you always hear like, like people that are trying to like do good or help people or shit like that. There's fucking people that are angry about that, like really angry. Why?
Right.
I don't know, but
I can tell you what it is. Shitty people don't know why people do good things because they're shitty. It's hard for them to wrap their head around that you could be wanting to do good things for people because they're shitty and they know that they approach things from a selfish and manipulative way. So anybody who thinks that, like, I feel like there's a lot of things out there that are wonderful resources, and if someone's out there trying to do good things, by all means. And some of those people have made mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, I from my experience, I can now say, there's a couple of people that I've had some issues with in the past that since then look like they're doing much better. They're making better choices, they're treating people better, and they are trying to do things in the community that I'm like, okay, I get it. Did they once make some very poor decisions? Absolutely. Did I disagree with them on a lot of things at one time? Yes, I did. But the other part of that is that I'm also not trying to like stop them from doing what they're doing. People, and it's a really tough space to be in because of the intimacy of what we do. Like, one of the big issues is consent, and being on a set where sex is taking place, or being in an environment, a hypersexual environment where you're collaborating with someone, or you're even on cam. It's a very sensitive space because you are in someone's sexual intimate space. And so it's things can take a turn without you even realizing it. And I think that it's an added element to our industry that a lot of people don't take into consideration, especially going to conventions where, everyone thinks that just because titties are out or people are pretty much naked, that it's okay to go and slap some booties, or it's okay to just grab someone's titties, or it's okay to just put your arm around them. And it's like, no, you still need to ask for consent. Just because we're in a hypersexual environment doesn't mean it's okay for you to just do what you want to do. And I'm supposed to be okay with it and smile and act like we're having a good time. While some people may be okay with that, and that's totally at their discretion, there are other people it is not okay.
that
And so
happens.
it does.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Go if you've never been to a
No.
Exotica convention or an
No.
avian convention. And sadly, it happens even with other women. It's just like, think of it like this. Think of it like adult Chuck E. Cheese. When kids get into Chuck E. Cheese, they just go fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
They jump on each other in the ball pit. They don't listen to what anybody's telling them to do because they're at fucking Chuck E. Cheese, right? They're just off the fucking chain and unhinged. Think of it for adults in a hypersexual environment. That's basically what happens. Now, it's not that extreme always. So I'm just kind of building it up so that you understand the environment and how kids, when they get to Chuck E. Cheese, they're not there to listen to their parents because oftentimes their parents take them because Chuck E. Cheese babysits them, and parents can be parents with other parents, and the kids just go do what they do. And until somebody cries or comes and says so-and-so hit so-and-so or something happened, the parents are oblivious to what's happening. So the kids can do whatever the fuck they want to do in this, child space. So you think of that as at these adult expos. And so the patrons that come in are overwhelmed with so much access to the things that they've seen on the internet, to the people that they've been admiring on the internet, or daily masturbating to or whatever it is that they do. And now they get to be in the presence of these people and they forget that we're humans. And because even in our own industry with other performers, I've had to be like, yo, like, there's been times where, male performers will pick up other models and hug them and kiss them on the cheek and do all these things. And I'm like, that might be cool for them, but I'm not okay with that. It makes me highly uncomfortable. I don't even know you. And for whatever reason, and I get it. Some of these people, they're cool off camera and, but just because she's okay with it doesn't mean that I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
First of all, don't pick me up because I'm old and my bladder is weak, so I may pee on you. Warning. But second of all, I don't feel comfortable with that because, that's not my life anymore. Like maybe before I met my partner, I was cool with it. I didn't mind, being flirtatious at the shows, but my life has changed since then. And there's somebody in the background who got a problem with it. And, and it makes me uncomfortable because I know that it makes him uncomfortable. So it's like, respect. So anyways, you're like, fuck.
And,
has it been 2 hours already?
Right. Oh shit, it has. Whoops. All right, real quick.
But
then.
we're good. We can still talk. You can have me for as long as you want.
Well, I was curious because you said you're going to Exotica Chicago.
Yeah.
What, tomorrow?
No, that's next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
The 11th through the 13th.
All right. So you're going to be getting fucking boundaries are going to be crossed.
No, I think with me,
oh, people know.
I don't think that they know. Right, I think that, I don't know. I just kind of avoid I try to avoid those situations. I have since, been very adamant about like, I've got a partner, like, I don't know. It could happen. I'll let you know. We could do a follow-up. A post
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Interview.
yeah. Plus I got a lot of fucking I got so many more questions, but yeah, because I got fucking.
No, keep asking. I'm here. Well, you gotta go?
Yeah.
Oh, see? I should have told you what time it was.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I know. I wasn't paying attention, man. You got so many fucking like, goddamn, like.
I've got so many stories and so much to share.
So interesting. Oh, one thing I do want to ask is like, because I like you got so much going on.
Yep.
So much going on. Now your fucking podcast, because like, is it on Twitter or because I was watching it on Twitter and everything. Like, where's your show at?
So it's on YouTube predominantly.
It is on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. So it's really kind of dysfunctional right now and chaotic. I really haven't. I've been entering back into, like I said, 2024 was a year of healing for me. So I was very minimal on social media. I didn't do anything podcast wise or iHeartBBW throughout 2024 for the most part. So I'm still trying to like figure out how I want to do this because I have to do it differently. I know that I have to do it differently because the way that I did things before clearly was ineffective and caused a lot of problems that I don't want to repeat. You know what I mean? For a variety of reasons. One, obviously it's unsuccessful. Who wants to keep making the same mistake twice? Secondly, I realized that, the decisions that I was making and my lack of leadership led to some problems. And so I want to make sure that I go about things better this time. So as I navigate that space, I'm still trying to create content and keep the podcast alive. So I do Witchy Wednesdays at 10 p.m. on Eastern on YouTube, but it also goes out to Facebook and Twitter because I'm on Restream too. So it goes out to other platforms at the same time, but predominantly my community is I'm trying to build on YouTube. But I'm also going to take that and put it on Spotify so that there is an audio version on Spotify as well. I'm also working on my podcast, Midlife Mentor. And essentially, I'm going to be talking about my life experience as a midlife woman, a midlife plus size woman, and a midlife plus size woman as a sex worker. So
That's what I want to hear about, because that's, I mean, shit, especially you've been doing it for so long and everything. Like, it's so interesting. Like
it is interesting.
You've seen it all from the beginning to, like,
Yeah. I love what I do. Like, that's the thing. Like, when people are like, God, she'll never go away. I have a passion for what I do. I've created a life for myself and a business that, you know, the things that I'm working on are solely designed to share my story, because maybe there's somebody out there who's experiencing something similar and doesn't feel supported, or, you know, has questions. Like, that's really why I do it. For the other performers, like, I'm not doing it for them. I would like to help other performers. That's why I've done the coaching and the consultation and the mentorships. Is, you know, I want to help you build your business and let you reach levels of success, because like I was saying before, I want to build this community and be supportive from the background. I would love for somebody, like, my idea from iHeartBBW.com before was that I was going to build it up, and then somebody was going to become the face of the community, or multiple people could have became the face of the community, and I was going to fall to the background and just be somebody who did the administrative work and kept the website up and was looking for more opportunities for BBWs. But I really wanted to just kind of fall to the background. Unfortunately, what happens is when you're doing things like this, somebody has to be the face. And it's easier for me to be the face, because then I can use my own content. I can create content. I can do all those things, and no one's going to tell me you got to take that down because I don't authorize for you to use it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier for me to just do it. And then not only that, but I can rely on myself. If I ask somebody else to do it, you know, it's not always a reliable situation. They, you know, may not feel like they want to continue to do it because they don't think that they're getting anything out of it. So, you know, my goal is to create the throne, or to not create the throne, but to, like, give up the throne so somebody else can take that shit and be the next queen of BBW. I would love that. I would even be like, yo, take the domains, take the whole fucking brand and be the queen of BBW. And I just be, you know, the midlife mentor. That's my goals. That's what I wanted. But, you know, unfortunately, my interpersonal skills are not as sharp. Like, let's just be real. When it comes to working with people, like, I just, you know, I'm an Aquarius, so.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, when's your birthday?
February 16th.
I'm February 1st.
Ah, first.
I'm the first of the month.
Yeah.
So grab your checks and come on, pay me. So yeah, I honestly, that's always been my goal. I have iHeartBBW magazine. The 4th issue is coming out. Matter of fact, next week at Chicago Exotica. I've got the Curvy BBW fashion show. So if you are any size, I know that the title says Curvy BBW. That is so that BBWs can get some recognition, but I am not size discriminatory. So I've had people that are not technically BBW. I don't have a scale at the stage and make you get on that bitch and say, you can get on the stage, and, you know, I don't care. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care how you identify. I don't care about any of that shit. All people deserve recognition, and all people deserve to make it on stage with us. And so if you are interested, please reach out to me. I feel like the world is discriminatory and hateful and mean already. This is just a play. I don't care if you're in a fucking wheelchair. Get on that bitch. You can be on stilts and cripple, or what do they call them things?
I want to say stilts.
Crutches. Wrong. I'm trying to think of crutches. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like beauty is one of those things that, you know, beauty is not something that has like one description. It doesn't have one definition. So I just want to say that. The world is a mean
Absolutely.
place. So I'm trying to create opportunities and recognition for people of all spaces. So there you go.
Well, that's fucking,
Got the
that's platinum.
magazine. I've got the website. We've got our YouTube channel, iHeartBBW. You can follow us on social media, iHeartBBWCOM. We're on everything. On TikTok, it's iHeartBBWCOM3. So
And links
join the
are in
movement.
description. So
Yeah, links are in the description.
Definitely. Fucking gotta check. Yeah, you gotta check her shit out. Because when I was fucking like checking your shit out and everything, like it was like a fucking rabbit hole. Like, because you do so much. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait, okay. All right, here's iHeartBBW.com. Okay, all right. Wait, what's
Yep.
this? Okay, whoa. What's this? What's
Wait a minute.
like it just went all over the place. I was like, what the fuck?
I've
Holy
got
shit,
Fan Club
it's
University.
impressive. Yeah.
I've got
Are you
the proho.com. I've got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking great, man. Yeah.
I've got BBWpedia I'm working on. So it's basically the Wikipedia of BBW content creators. I was going to make it adult entertainment, but I feel like, you know, I really want to break the wall between adult entertainers and content creators, because I think that to categorize it is really unfair, but you know, we'll see how that works. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you got an OnlyFans? I don't want to be associated with you." Like, then don't, because I'm just monetizing my content. That's all.
The fuck, people are fucking weird, man. Like, just so much shit.
They are weird.
But
I personally, I mean, I can't really say what I would be like, what I would have been like before the industry, and maybe I felt some kind of way too. Who knows? But for many people, their story in adult entertainment is very dark, and not everybody has a positive experience. For me, it saved my life. It saved my career. I haven't had to work for a company in 21 years. So, you know, and that's what I want to share with people is like, your story is what you write for it. And there're going to be things that you can't control. There's going to be things that you can't predict. Life is going to life you. It's going to happen. But it's not, you know, it's like even with the drama that I experienced, like that's not what I want my story to be about. I don't want it to be about the drama and the beef and the situations that I've had with people. What I want it to be about is that I could have easily faded to the background and succumbed to my fears and been like, how do I re-enter this space after all the things that happened? And instead I said, fuck that shit. I'm coming back. I worked too fucking hard to just walk away. And that's what I want my story and my legacy to be about, is that you too can come back from whatever it is. Hopefully, you know, some things are pretty serious, but I'm saying, like, you know, mental health issues, we all go through them. I have dark days, I have light days, you know what I mean? And that's what I want my story to be about, is that you can do it. You can do it. I was 30 years old when I entered into this industry. I was not young, and you know, I was a middle-aged woman already, so to speak, you know. So I want my story to be about survival and about strength and, you know, successes, but through those successes I had a lot of failures. And, you know, you can do it. You can do it. If you put your mind to it and you believe in yourself and you just get back up and you dust your knees off and you get the dirt off and, you know, reapproach, re-strategize, rebrand, do what you got to do. And you come back and you do it again. And you might fall and fail, but you get back up and you figure out what you did wrong and you do it again. And you just keep doing that until you find what works for you. And sometimes when it comes to camming, you got to find your niche. You got to find what makes you different than everyone else. You got to find what your fans are looking for from you that you feel comfortable with. And let that be your story and your legacy. And don't let anybody else tell the story for you. Don't let them create the narrative and let everybody believe what other people say, because only you can tell your story.
I'm not even a cam girl, and you're fucking like hyping me up. Like I'm getting fucking hyped to do my other shit. Like, dude, like seriously.
But that's what I feel like that's what I'm
it's
here for. I feel like, when I was going through this period of who the fuck am I and why am I here and why do I care about the adult industry? Like for me, I realized that the entertainment industry, I had let my persona, Platinum Puzzy took over, and Carrie was nowhere to be seen. You know what I mean? I wasn't even being authentic because Platinum Puzzy had took over, and Platinum Puzzy is more ambitious than Carrie. And so I had to really find some balance last year and be like, nah, that's not really what I'm trying to do. And Carrie had to put Platinum in check. Like, yo, bitch, sit the fuck back, sit down. Like that's not part of what we're trying to do. So I hear you, I see you, I recognize you, but bitch, shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. And that's hard to do because it's like you see all these stories about people that get into Hollywood, they get so addicted to the fame, they get so addicted to the things that, like being popular and, all of that, like they get addicted to those things. And I feel like my platinum persona really got consumed with, reaching the top. And even though I was proud of the fact that I wasn't really stepping on people to get to the top, there were other things that I said and did that weren't exactly the healthiest and the most effective, and they weren't the best. So Carrie had to step in and be like, nah, bitch, we've worked too hard to get here and you are off track. So that's where I'm at now, is like, I want to hype people up. I want people to realize that there are bad things that happen in the world. There's bad things that happen in this industry, but there's also some really great things. I'm able to work outside of this industry because I learned social media, because I learned websites, because I learned how to video, because I learned how to edit, because I learned social media management, because I learned digital marketing. Like all of the things that I learned through the adult industry have given me the skills and the ability to work as an entrepreneur outside of the adult entertainment industry. When you start like wrapping your head around, I'm not just a sex worker, and you really see the potential and you realize like what a badass person you are, that's what I want to do. I want to hype you up and make you like just really see what you're capable of. So I don't know what you got to do next, but you're going to kill that shit.
I hope everyone takes that and like fucking hears what you just said, because that's really well said.
Thank you.
And it fucking hyped me up. So if it's not hyping anyone else up, I don't know. They better fucking re-listen to what you just said, because it's hyping me up.
I mean,
seriously, I'm ready fucking...
I'm not for everybody. I get it. My sheer existence pisses people off sometimes, but it is what it is. That's a you problem, not a me problem. So,
well,
do what?
Hey, like Easy said, I say, fuck them. That's it. Leave it at that.
That's definitely from the words of a wisdom or wise person. Yes, fuck them. Like I can't live for everyone else. It's like, I'm a Gen Xer, and we live in times where people are ultra sensitive. They feel the need to like pigeonhole everything, and everything needs to have a diagnosis and everything needs to be categorized. And I'm just like, I'm from Gen X. You just said what the fuck you said, and you just kept it pushing. So people now are pretty sensitive, but you know what? Like you said, fuck them. I do my best to deliver the information and to deliver the knowledge in a way that's understanding to most. But I'm sure there's people out there that, but like you said,
do not have an open mind. They don't have an open mind. That's it. Like, just open your mind up to shit. Like, you're not like, like you said earlier, we're not perfect. We don't fucking know everything. Like, I always like, I don't know, like, like you see stupid people, like, a stupid person when you see a stupid person or hear a stupid person. But like, it'd be like, all right, whatever with that. But like, I don't fucking know everything. I love information. I love learning things. Like, just open your mind to shit. You might fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you might fucking, You know, like you might just hear like hearing what you just said, like that fucking like hyped me up to do some other shit. And, you know, so I want to fucking do it. You know,
I'm going to say this. After the things that I went through over the course of the last few years, it was not easy to re-enter into this space. It was very difficult. It's hard when you know that people are talking shit. You know, it's hard when you hurt people. You know, it's hard when you have to face your fuck ups, you know? It's like going to someone, like it's like going to your partner after you cheated and having that conversation where the partner's going to tell you how that, you know, like, you know, they're going to tell you that you fucked up. You know, they're going to tell you how much it hurt them. It's not an easy conversation to have. So I'm sharing this with you because it's not easy to come back and face what could possibly, you know, and there have been things that have been said online that I'm just like, whatever, you know, because I feel like the point of why I'm saying this is that you can either approach things from a point of positivity where you're trying to like fix something, or you're either a part of the problem or you're a part of the solution. If you're perpetually talking about negative things or you're approaching things from a negative perspective, then you can't expect positive results. You just can't. It's like continuously pouring oil into water and expecting to have, you know, crystal clear water. Like, it's not going to happen. But if you go into that and you do your best to put positive water into the cup, then the likeliness that oil will be in there is a lot less likely because you're trying to be positive. And that's basically the message that I'm sending, is like, it's not easy. It's, you know, I'm totally anxious about going to Chicago. I know that there are people there that I'm not looking forward to seeing, but at the same time, you know, I'm a badass bitch and I refuse to be silenced. I refuse to let anybody steal my light, and I'm just going to keep shining because I know that internally I have good intentions and I know that I mean to do well. And even though sometimes it doesn't always come across the right way or it gets mixed up in other things, then, you know, I'm just going to learn from my mistakes and do better going forward. So that's the point. So get hyped up. Get your ass on cam. Do what you got to do. Make your movie, whatever project you're working on, do it. And at least you could say you tried. At least you could say you tried. And that's what's happening now. It's like, I may decide in a few weeks after all of these things that, you know, I maybe this isn't for me anymore. It could happen. Or I could be like, you know what? I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm helping. Even if it's just one person out there, I'm doing what I love to do, and that's what's important. So with that being said, I'm going to let you go do whatever it is that you're doing because I got some food waiting for me. And I don't know if you know, but I like to eat. It might not be evident by just looking at me, but I love to eat. And so, and I've talked long enough.
Well,
go look for me on the internet.
Get your grub on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. This was great.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Yes. Cam Girl Diaries.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us on our social media below. And if you like our content, become a YouTube member or join our Patreon to get special perks like members-only videos and live streams, insider info, our private Discord, and much more. See you fly honeys on the next video.